All right, 2 solar ovens.
2 solar ovens, a ton of fresh ingredients.
And some hanging out in the sun.
We're gonna be cooking a meal that burns as little carbon as possible.
Micah, Chris, and I have talked a lot about making a meal burning as little carbon as possible. We've decided to build some solar ovens, cook with local ingredients, and see how different a meal tastes cooking with the sun.
Instead of burning carbon in order to heat up our meal, we could just use and concentrate the power of the sun, which already exists. And we can do that in a couple of ways. The solar oven that we saw, that was like 2 tiers of pedals that you could bounce the sun at the proper angle into the oven.
It was like a toaster oven crossed with a satellite dish.
Should we try making one of those?
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was a little back door that you could put your dish inside, and then the beams would hit the reflector and then get bounced right in.
And so this is tin foil or reflective surface of some sort.
You got it.
This is the solar oven collector.
That's the reflective way of doing it. It'd be cool to do some kind of magnifying system. Bay rays come in, and then it bounces it in towards the middle.
Kind of like stovetop, as opposed to inside the oven.
So this is the parabolic.
That's the parabolic styles.
So 2 styles of cooking.
We should also come up with dishes that are suited to each one too. I want to stay away from chicken, pork, beef, larger animals, because they're really energy intensive to raise.
Well, we were talking about doing a risotto.
And a salad.
And a salad.
Because I mean, that's one of the big keys, right, to not using energy is eating things raw.
We should hit the market and see what's in season, sort of locally.
How strict are we going to be about calculating the amount of carbon that's being used to make this meal?
We should write it all down and try and get a rough idea of how much energy went into our meal. All right, 2 solar ovens.
A ton of fresh ingredients.
Hanging out in the sun.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we cannot control.
To get inspired, we checked out the rooftop garden of a hotel in the heart of the city.
So what are you guys growing up here?
You name it. We grow over 40 different herbs, fruits, vegetables.
And it's all food that you use downstairs in the hotel restaurant?
We use everything.
Do you find it tastes better?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know, most of the lettuce this time of year is coming from California. It was picked 5 or 6 days ago. This is you know, eaten, you know, within minutes or hours of it being picked. So absolutely, it tastes a lot better. We're not certified organic up here, but we follow organic practices. We don't use any pesticides. We don't add fertilizer. We just use the sort of natural fertilizers, and we compost everything, and it provides us with most of the soil we need.
So you become a little self-sufficient loop.
Yeah, there's an educational benefit. We know it tastes better. We know it's a better story for our guests, and it's good for the environment. And you know, that's why we do it.
Okay, so we know how, but we should be asking an expert the question why.
We're just kind of curious why we should shop locally.
My main interest of it is both energy conservation to prevent the worsening of global warming and also for the food security of the citizens of this city. The fact is that this city is only 3 days away from running out of food. We have a food system that depends entirely on imports from California, Florida, and beyond. And in the event of a trucker strike or a massive fuel shortage, we are out of food in this city in 3 days, and it is the same for every city in North America. We have what is called a long-distance food system, and that not only means the miles traveled, it means the distance between humans and their food. You know, it is possible to live here, to live well on a local diet, which I don't recommend. I recommend trying to be about 50% local.
So for us to lower our carbon footprint with this particular meal that we're working on, we'd be best to forage some things ourselves, try and find them ourselves.
I don't want to start the list with start foraging for dandelions and get used to the taste of dandelions. Like, there is so many simple and obvious things that we should be doing that let's start with that.
So our challenge has been set. We can only cook using the sun with our solar cookers and using fresh ingredients. So we're going to head to a local market. We're going to find out what's fresh today. We're going to track our carbon footprint the entire way, and we're going to have a great meal. The sun still hasn't come out, but we're banking that it's going to. So we're getting started on making our solar ovens. Now, the big challenge of this whole experience is to track our carbon footprint so that we know by the end of our meal exactly how much energy it took to make it.
I like the goal of not using any outside energy other than the sun. But in terms of turning it into cookable energy, that we have to focus it. And I guess that's where our two designs come from. This one is going to be parabolic, so it's going to have a focal point, and that's where the heat's going to get concentrated. And then the other one, we're going to build a giant box.
You know, this kind of affair, you know, and then we can have these like facets that we can articulate.
And the awesome thing is we found these at the surplus store. The sun was shining, it was 3 in the afternoon, and Martin's held up a piece of paper, and 2 seconds, boom, it was like flaming.
It was like,
Cool.
Yeah, so the light will come in from above, and then it's gonna get kind of collected by all these mirrors and then refocus into the middle, and then that's gonna heat up whatever it is we're cooking.
It's going to be impossible to have a 0% carbon footprint meal. So we're going to try to keep it as low to 0 as possible.
so I'm gonna have to remind myself all the time to use hand tools.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
Yeah.
I know. All right, so let's start making these ovens. We haven't used a hand drill in a long time.
I know. It's like, it makes you like, you know, realize how convenient power tools are.
What do you make?
I'm making the base for the collector oven that Chris has been working on. So the oven itself will sit on here. So this is good. Can I just pass that down to you?
Okay, you ready?
Right. How much energy did you expend doing it?
I think I lost a year of high school. All right.
That was a good one. You saved me some time though. Thank you.
Gonna run up to the market. Okay, man. Okay, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Okay, bye.
So I'm curious what you guys have that's local, that's Ontario.
Salad picked fresh today.
Okay, yeah, I'll grab some of that for sure. So how long a drive is it?
Takes 45 minutes with no traffic.
This asparagus, is it from around here?
450 Ontario asparagus.
Awesome.
Broccoli is from the U.S.
Can't take that.
Cucumbers. Elmer. They're from Elmer,
Okay.
Ontario.
How about this cider?
Dairy Road in Milton.
Okay, they have an address?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take
He only wants stuff with addresses on it.
Hey Colette, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm wondering if there are plants that would be ready to eat. And I was thinking that if we actually bought the plants, then we could keep growing them, and then it would be even more local than if we bought them at the market.
There's some of our old lettuces. This one's called red salad bowl. You can eat all the top leaves.
And it grows back?
It goes back. I just keep picking leaves mostly, just not that way I have very fresh lettuce every day. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Colette. So your fish, is it from Lake Huron? You guys are
Georgian Bay, 257 kilometers.
257 kilometers. And what kind of fish do you have right now?
We have lake trout and whitefish. This was yesterday's catch.
It's a beautiful piece of fish. And I'll take some rhubarb over there as well, right?
Hey, Donovan.
How's it going?
Yeah,
Whoa. That's wicked, man. Dude, this looks so serious.
If you go down there, crawl in that little space, it
Really?
gets hot with the ambient light in here.
So let's cook your head.
It's kind of warm in here, actually.
Show us what you got.
This is from Colette, and this is the cool thing about Colette is she's actually less than a kilometer away. Have you ever had birch syrup before? How awesome is that?
That's cool.
But this is gonna blow our carbon because, well, maple syrup, same problem, right? But instead of using sugar that's been refined using a lot of heat and then shipped, I figure this is locally refined. Check these out, oxide daisy capers. Now, they came from the Gaspé, so that's a little bit of a haul, but still in Canada, only one province over.
We might as well get stuff from Upper New York State. Or,
No way,
or
man.
Buffalo or whatever.
That's
And,
right, you have to write this down.
Basically, the closer the food is grown, the less carbon is released into the atmosphere from transportation emissions. Let's figure out our average distance.
64.3 K for the mushrooms. Capers come from the Gaspésie,
Okay.
and that's 1,471 K.
Yeah, I'm on the 1500K diet.
I've bicycled this distance.
That's sketchy, dude. That just blows us out of the water.
Okay, well, why don't we'll do an average. If you want to eliminate that ingredient, I can return it.
333.6 kilometers.
I'm just gonna start welding now.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we thinking about eating?
The proposal of the meal is 5 dishes. Yeah, we have a salad, which we don't have to cook anything for.
Yep.
Soup, Then there's the fish category, which could involve the pickled capers.
You know what? You bought them because you were attracted to them.
I was
and
moved.
You were moved by them, and
Yeah.
you thought they'd be great. So they stay.
Okay, we'll factor it in.
And then we have the wild risotto, which is the wild rice and the barley. And there's shiitake mushrooms. And then there's the dessert, cider, these bitter walnuts, and the rhubarb.
Awesome. Well, this looks like a great meal.
So we've got everything we need to make our meal, and
Yeah.
we've got all of our solar cookers ready. So tomorrow morning, we just head out and we start cooking. All right, all we need is the sun. We got so lucky, the sun is shining. Both of our solar ovens are made. All we have to do now is prepare the ingredients, head over to a rooftop, and start cooking our solar supper. All right, guys.
Yeah, man.
I'm just getting to start with the soup to get a broth going. I was just gonna throw some onions, some parsnips, and some Jerusalem artichokes in there, some bay leaves. And you guys are getting some bike rack stuff put together?
Yeah, putting together a attachment for your bicycle. So that we can put this on the back of your bike and wheel it over.
Right on.
I'm gonna make like a little infusion bouquet.
You're talking about the Italian parsley in the soup.
The Italian parsley and some other stuff. I'll probably put some fresh garlic,
I love spring garlic. So much like a green onion or a leek.
but it has that garlic smell. I'm gonna put a little winter savory in. Winter savory is a lot like thyme. And this is an heirloom one too that Colette gave us. So I'm gonna just bruise it,
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
then goes in.
You're getting very hungry. You're getting very hungry.
Dude,
want
man,
to
it's
eat.
working, man. Stop. All right, so that's the soup. Have you guys looked outside?
It's gorgeous. Hey, the rooftop is just down the street. The owners are really cool with letting us set up the ovens and cook our low-carbon meal.
That's looking good. If you stand right here, you can see all the rays just like beaming down into the soup.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, that's such a good call to make a shiitake stock with a wild rice dish.
Well, what's the heat at right now? 111, 110, 108.
What's the outside of the oven?
The deck is 133.
So the deck is hotter than the oven.
Deck is hotter than the oven.
We just set it up.
We gotta rock a whole bunch of mirrors.
Okay.
And you have to be careful because wherever I aim it could burn up. Like check out that focal point.
Wow, that's bright.
Yeah, that's gonna get hot.
Whoa.
Wanna blow it out? Put it out, put it out. All right, watch where you aim that mirror.
Yeah, okay, we're dealing with some seriously powerful stuff.
Yeah, that's rooftop fire.
Okay.
All right, well, we know it works. That's great.
That's how stuff
that?
starts.
Exactly.
Swing it that way just a little bit. And swing it back. Yeah, so it needs to, the whole thing needs to slide a little bit more towards the south. Oh yeah, you're gonna start
Ready for some butter?
browning, like, mushrooms
I'm
and
gonna
stuff?
start browning the some parsnips and mushrooms.
Nice.
And I'm gonna get the risotto going. What do you have?
300, 302,
Wow.
306.
That's like a small burner on a stove.
And it's free. We're not
Yeah.
plugged into anything.
That's great.
All right, parsnips.
Nice.
Okay, this is the oyster mushrooms. I love this because if you walk away, stuff won't really burn. You know, if you answer the phone or you go, check an email.
Yeah, man, but you know what? Nice thing about being on a rooftop is there's no phone, there's no email.
I think we should get the rice and the barley soaking. But the broth is hot. Actually, you check the temperature of it.
Yeah. Oh.
Good, eh?
Oh.
So good.
I'm gonna add it to the rice and then put it in the oven so that it can just cook away.
So you're straining everything out, you're just putting the broth in?
Yep. The rice dish is in.
Oh, we got brownage.
Yeah.
We have solar brownage.
No way, really?
Check that action out. We almost might want a little bit more butter in there. Just a little bit. There we go. Oh, look at that sizzle.
We should also figure out what we're gonna do with that apple cider.
I think a reduction would be awesome.
Apple cider, maple syrup. And then some of this birch syrup.
That stuff is crazy.
It's really
That's
crazy.
really strong.
Put a bit of cider vinegar into the reduction.
We could do the fish in that, like poach the
Pan.
fish.
Sure.
Oh, nice.
All right.
It smells great, man. And the weight is fine. It's
Yeah?
changed the focal point by drifting down a little bit.
All right, what else do we have to do?
Refocus this puppy, and then we kick back and drink a beer.
All right, refocused.
Okay, beer time.
Now let's refocus ourselves.
When we put the reduction in with the fish, we put the capers in.
The
Oxide, daisy capers. Let's try one.
Yeah, totally. Vinegar.
Oh, they're tender. Oh, they're like artichoke hearts.
They're malty.
They're totally malty. They start off like artichoke hearts, and then they go into little cornichon, you know, like Madagascan style pickle.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've never had a pickled flower bud before.
I'm gonna slice up the fish nice and thin so it takes less time to cook.
Beautiful wild caught lake trout. Oh, it smells so fresh.
Oh, it smells like Lake Huron.
Oh, they're sizzling, man. Look at that, it's already, oh yeah.
I say you flip it, we put the reduction in, and then eat in like 2 minutes.
So with just a little more than a dozen mirrors, we're able to cook lake trout.
So we just have to prepare our dessert.
Right.
Let's get the rhurbarb cooking in the oven, and then we can do the topping in the frying pan
Yeah,
and put it
yeah.
on top of the rhubarb.
I got the rhubarb happening here, and then I put some maple syrup in.
All right, how much are we talking?
Just, we'll say when. It takes quite a bit to offset the tartness. All right, I'm gonna put the rhubarb in. Do you think we could toast some walnuts?
I believe we could. Caramelize them.
Now we're doing top sizzle. So we should tally up the carbon count.
Let's say our like under 100 kilometer range is our baseline. Now those capers that I bought upped our carbon by our calculations by 4 times. However, if we had bought everything at the grocery store and it had come from California or wherever food usually comes from, the carbon would have been up by 43 times. So we're 43 times less than the average.
Less than the average, which means it's significant by eating local. I think it's time to eat. With all the ingredients we got from the local market, this meal has taken little to no energy to make except what we've put into it and what the sun has given us, and it smells amazing, and we're about to eat. By putting limitations on where we're gonna get our food and how we're gonna cook it, a whole new world of possibilities opened up for us. We harnessed the sun's rays. We focused on getting food that was coming from local providers and farmers so we could keep down our carbon footprint. But really, we're just gonna sit back and we're gonna enjoy it.
Thanks, dude.
Grab one.
Gentlemen, this is looking pretty fine.
The stock is onions and parsnips
Garlic?
and garlic and Jerusalem artichokes.
I've never had anything that sweet and fresh. So it's fragrant.
Good temperature, too.
It's like a little bit warmer than your internal temperature.
I feel like I've hollowed out the stalk of a vegetable that includes all of these vegetables, and I'm just drinking.
Oh, like a coconut?
Yeah, coconut.
Okay, I'm gonna try some asparagus.
Yeah, the asparagi. They're good. They're almost like raw.
But they still maintain an asparagus flavor.
Yeah.
They don't have a boiled flavor.
Well, that's for sure. Okay, well, I need to dig into this fish before I go crazy. So this is the lake trout with the capers?
Yeah, oxide daisy caper. It's what quadrupled our carbon for this meal. Hey, dudes, I gotta point out the browning.
Yeah.
Solar skillet browning.
Yeah.
Wow. That fish is so good.
That's really good.
That
It's really
reduction
gentle.
rocks, man.
Yeah, it's really
good.
great.
The apple flavor from the cider and the cider vinegar.
And that birch syrup, like a little hint of it.
Yeah.
I think it's because everything's from the same area. You know, like the birch could have been lying in the lake and there could have been some apples bobbing around in Lake Huron. You know, some of the bigger fish ate.
I'm gonna try the wild rice and barley.
Excellent. Good texture, chewy.
It's really satisfying.
This is totally opening me up. I think I tend to overcook things. When I make risottos, maybe I'm impatient. I run things on high for a few minutes and then I simmer. But this is proof to me that if you simmer, you get a great texture.
Should we rock some dessert?
Totally.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Rhubarb apple crumble.
Yeah, with Ontario black walnuts.
Yes. I've never had Ontario black walnuts that have been foraged.
And the rhubarb. The rhubarb is just soaked up the sun.
I love how tart it is.
It's
I love it.
tart, though. I mean,
Well, because we've kind
melted
of
it.
pummeled it with maple syrup.
I also appreciate the hangout time outside. We couldn't hurry it.
yeah, I'm psyched to be able to use the sun for cooking other things, too.
If we didn't keep on cooking with the sun, it'd be kind of silly.
Stove is always on. Just have to remember to make use of it. That's all.
Yeah.